you imagine meeting your future husband at 10 years old? Because in the Afghanistan culture, many young girls do. Afghanistan marriage traditions are based on their Islamic beliefs, their Quran, which is their holy book, and their traditions that have been passed down for thousands of generations. Since America is becoming more diverse every day, it's important to understand a culture that's different from your own. This topic interests me because their marriage traditions were so different from mine, and after researching, I feel like I have a better understanding of their traditions and how they work. In order for an Afghan wedding to take place, there are many circumstances and steps that have to be taken. These steps include the arrangement of the marriage and how it happens, the process of the engagement, and the wedding itself. By explaining Afghan marriage through the process of the arrangement, the engagement, and the wedding, I hope to leave you with a better understanding of their culture. This process begins when a girl turns 10 years old, even though they cannot get married until the age of 16. According to the article Life as an Afghan Woman, almost 60% of Afghan girls are married by the age of 16. When the women of the family begin their search, they will typically look for someone who is older, and as odd as it may sound, they will look for the first cousins in the family. If they can't find one, they will begin to look elsewhere. Many things are taken into consideration when looking for the husband, such as age, physical appearance, money, and the background of his family. Once the women think they have found the match, they will present him to the father and the rest of the men of the girl's family, and if they approve, the girl's family will send a proposition to the boys, and if they all agree, the engagement process can finally begin. The next stage is setting up the festivities for the engagement. The first thing that happens is a serene ikora. The Afghan wedding ritual article states that this is a party before the wedding for the bride and groom to get to know each other. The boy's family will bring sweets, gifts, money, and clothes for the bride to be in her family. This is where the families sit down, they have a meal, and after the meal, the boy's father will offer up his son to the girl's father to be his servant. They do this because the groom is expected to provide the bride with gifts and money, and if he can't, then he will work off his debt with the girl's father. During this time, the future bride and groom will continue setting up appointments to get to know each other better. On the night before the wedding, the henna ceremony will take place. This is where the bride and all of the young unmarried girls will be covered in henna. Everybody see the henna? Everybody see it? Oh. Alright. The henna is the paste that is drawn onto the girl's hands and sometimes feet of the bride and all of her guests. It is made from leaves of a plant that dye your hands after it's applied. Since the party is just for women, the groom will come and put the henna onto the bride's hands, tie her hands with a white cloth, and then leave. After the henna party is finally over, it's time for the wedding ceremony. The nikah is the name for the wedding ceremony that is held according to the Islamic Encyclopedia. To start out the marriage ceremony, the bride starts out wearing a green dress. The ceremony begins by the bride and groom exchanging vows in front of the priest. Then the priest will read from the Quran. After this, the groom will read a prayer from the Quran and look into the mirror at his bride. When he is done, he will lift her veil that she is wearing and then feed each other a dessert in front of all their guests. After this, the bride will change into her white dress and the groom and her will perform a traditional dance. When it's done, when the dance is finished, they will stand in the doorway and thank each of her guests that have come. Through the entire wedding ceremony, the bride is not allowed to smile because they see that as disrespect to her father. The next morning, the breakfast is served to the newly married couple, and after they are finished, they are finally left alone to be a newlywed couple. The Afghanistan culture is extremely different from mine, but through learning about their culture, I see how important their wedding traditions are to them. Finally, we've discussed marriage in Afghanistan and the process of their arrangement, the engagement, and the actual wedding. I hope this gives you a better understanding of Afghanistan and their culture and wedding traditions. As times are changing, so is America. This is why it's important to understand a culture different from your own. So therefore, you should never criticize what you can't understand.
Yeah.